live. What's going on, everyone? Thank you all so much for tuning in. Everyone that's here at this time, I greatly appreciate it. Anybody watching this on the replay, thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. So, great win, right? Nice balanced attack. Look, San Antonio, they're a different team this year. They have been very good this year, above 500. They were just on a 4-game win streak, I believe, coming into this game. Lakers were on a 3-game losing streak. This is one of those games where you get bad pretty quickly, right? And all of a sudden you lose this game. Now you're the 10th seed, right? So Lakers need to continue to stay pace. This is a good, solid, balanced win. I know some people are going to look at it and go, oh, it's the Spurs. It's Spurs. They didn't do that against the Nuggets. They didn't do that against, Orlando. They didn't do that against that. Doesn't matter, right? Win is a win. You're playing the opponent that is in front of you, but also it's how did they win? Was this like an ugly, back and forth? It was, Lakers should have won this game and they just, they pulled it out by a LeBron game winner or something like that. No, this was a nice balanced attack win where everybody contributed, everyone pitched in, right? We controlled the game pretty much start to finish. Yeah, San Antonio went on their run, as you expect. It's basketball. Basketball is a game of runs. The NBA is a game of runs, right? You knew San Antonio wasn't just going to lay down and go, all right, well, Lakers are just better, right? No, you knew that they were going to come. They were going to throw their punches, and this was going to be one of those games. And, Lakers stayed the course. They threw their punch. We threw our punch. They threw another punch. We threw the haymaker, and next thing you know, it's over. And again, I like that it was a balanced win where we played the right way. That's the biggest thing for me, right? That this wasn't like a LeBron and AD gave you 70 and, that's why we won. No, this was Dalton Connect, right? D'Angelo Russell, where's this D-Lo, right? Max Christie was excellent on both sides of the basketball, right? he had his hand in everything tonight. I mean, he looked great tonight, right? You had a nice contribution. You kind of, obviously the turnovers, there's definitely things that you need to improve on. You had 13 turnovers. I'd like it under 10. Once again, LeBron had 5 of them. LeBron has got to do a better job to take care of the basketball, right? Really came alive in the fourth. Even Stu talked about how, hey, this was a game where each quarter it was somebody different, right? You had Connect, you had D'Lo, you had AD, you had LeBron, right? Nice balanced attack. You had Dalton Connect lead all scorers with 20. He was 40% from 3, 4 of 10, 8 of 15 from the floor total. He had 8 rebounds. And something else that I've talked about, right? He's done a really good job of rebounding the basketball for the Lakers. Dished out a couple assists. On top of that, had a steal or 2 steals, and 20 points was a +9. Anthony Davis, 8 of 14, 14 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, had a nice all-around game, right? I'm obviously I would love to see Anthony Davis drop 40 every night, but I do like this kind of game. I prefer this kind of game where everyone has their hand in the cookie jar. Everyone's, contributing. Everyone's playing nicely. Anthony Davis has a solid stat line across the board, as long as you're winning. And that's one thing about AD. AD's even said, it's like, I don't have to drop 40 if guys are playing together and doing what they need to do. I think that this was a great game from Anthony Davis. Really controlled and impact both sides of the basketball. Got guys involved. LeBron James, outside of the turnovers, he had a very good game. He had a triple-double. 8 of 18 from the floor isn't fantastic, but again, impacted the game in a multitude of ways. Had 10 rebounds, 11 assists. Again, 5 turnovers is not good. He really needs to clean that up, right? That's been the one thing about LeBron this season. Good games, bad games happen. It happens. But you got to take care of the basketball, man. He's averaging 5 or 6 turnovers a game. That's ridiculous, right? But beyond that, he had a solid game. Austin Reeves, I liked his all-around game. Again, when he's hitting shots, it opens things up for him, right? He was able to be aggressive. He was able to find an attack. He contributed with 13 points. D'Angelo Russell was excellent off the bench, right? 17 and 5. Now, I'm not saying he has to give you 17 and 5 every night, but this level of efficiency, this level of confidence, this looked like D'Lo last year, right? This is the D'Lo we saw last year. Confident in his approach, being decisive in shooting. He had a couple shots that I'm like, I wish he would have kind of reeled that back a little bit. But for the most part, took some good shots, hit some shots, played with some confidence, got guys involved, made some plays, right? Like, I loved seeing that from D'Angelo Russell. Now, I'm hopeful. So last season, right, and I've talked about this before, right? Last season, D'Angelo Russell had like the first, I think it was like 15, 20 games. He was like 31% from three. He did not look good, right? He was really struggling mightily. And then he had that game where he looked different, felt different. He started coming together, and then all of a sudden, boom, right? Like he ended up having a historically great season for the Lakers. I'm hopeful that kind of happens. I don't want to get there yet because he's been so inconsistent, but it would be nice if he can kind of get back to that. Again, I'm not even saying he has to give us 17 a night. If he gives us 12 and 5 off the bench on efficiency, that's the key, efficiency. If he just gives us 12 and 5 off the bench on efficiency, beautiful. That is perfect. I'm not saying D'Lo doesn't need to be traded. I'm not saying anything like that. But until we do trade D'Lo, we need the best version of D'Lo possible. The better D'Lo is, the better the Lakers are. And until you find that trade where you can, move D'Lo for something else, we need D'Lo to be this version of D'Lo. Confident, hitting shots, making plays, getting to the teeth of the defense, doing the things necessary to help us win the game. I really like that from him. And then lastly, and then I'll jump into all the super chats and regular chat and all that. Max Christie. Max Christie, look, box score wise, you look at it. 12 points, right? 2 assists, 4 rebounds. He had a block, 1 of 3 from 3, 4 of 6 from the floor. This might have been Max Christie's best game, right? And Max Christie's had like 2 other really good games. He had his hand on everything. I mean, he was affecting passing lanes, shots, right? Like he was hustling, doing the dirty work. I loved what we saw from Max Christie this game. A lot of that stuff is not going to show up in the box score. If you didn't actually watch this game and you just looked at the stat line, you're like, Tyler, he had a good game, right? He was okay. No, this was a great game from Max Christie. If he plays like this every night, he has to stay in the rotation. He has to be a key top 8 guy, right? Because the defensive intensity, the energy, the rebounding, again, just being active, affecting things. Yes, he didn't get the steal, but he got the deflection that led to LeBron getting the steal that, like those kind of things. Really loved what we saw from Max Christie. Really loved what we saw from this team as a whole this game. This is the type of game that I keep talking about. When the Lakers play this way, we win. Lakers, 31 assists. What do I say? Every time the Lakers get 30 or more assists, they win every game. They win them all, right? Because it usually looks like this. You have 5, 6, 7 guys in double figures, right? You had what? You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys in double figures. 7 guys in double figures, 31 assists. That's the way we need to play. Moving the basketball, moving without the basketball, motion, having offense, doing all those things. I really loved what we saw from this Lakers team. This was a great game, right? Justify it however you want. People are going to try to, it's the Spurs. Spurs have been very good this year. They were on a 4-game win streak, over 500, and we're on the road where we've not been great, handle business. But next is OKC, so we got to get that done. But let's get into all the super chats, all the regular chats, all that stuff real quick. Hit that like button if you haven't hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. Let's get into this because okay, perfect. I was going to say I'm only going to be able to go for probably about another 20, 30 minutes. I got some stuff I have to take care of before it gets too late, but I had to do a live stream. Especially after this game. So let's get into it. Just wanted to let you all know. So I'm going to try to get through as much of the chat as possible. But Crippy Longstocky coming in hot with $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Seriously, I really appreciate that. Helps me out a ton. The offense needs to run through AD and connect. When he's truly involved, we are winning games. LeBron seems like he doesn't. He does too much at times. So yes, I do like. Look. JJ Redick has done a good job of running through Anthony Davis, especially when he's making plays out of the post. I really like this is the kind of game, right? I know people like Anthony Davis giving you 40 and stuff, and I like that too. But I would much prefer, 23, 14, and 7, right? Like if he gave us like 4 more points, to me, it's a perfect game from him, right? Because he's not just scoring a bunch of points, right? He's the hub, right? He's getting the ball, he's making the plays out, he's making the right reads, he's playing the right way, he's hitting shots, so he's staying active, he's staying in the offense, he's grabbing boards, he's blocking shots, he's getting steals, he's impacting the game entirely, right? I love these kinds of games from Anthony Davis, and I'd like to see this kind of be encouraged more. Like, hey, I'd love to see you win the scoring title, but if you can do a little more, I'd rather you, instead of giving us 30, giving us 23 and 7, right? Because now you accounted for 50 points instead of 30, right? Like it's just a bigger overall impact for him. Playing through Connect, right? Like I like when Connect is involved in the actions. The way that they've operated him, particularly in this game, where he's touching the ball and then he's making decisions and then staying active within the offense. Yes, I agree. I really like that. I don't want to see them kind of like everything's kind of going through AD and Connect, because Connect, you see he gets uncomfortable at times, right? We've seen him, like guys start pressuring him and he like picks up his dribble, starts looking for LeBron or somebody, right? Like I don't think he's quite there yet to where it's like, hey, he's the guy, him and AD are your 1A, 1B, right? Or your 1A and B, right? I don't think we're there yet. But I do like when he's active in the offense, right? When, he's coming off of ball screens, they're doing the dribble handoffs, he's got the ball, he's making a move. Okay, let me swing it out. Oh, the guy did it. The guy went under the screen. Cool. I can pull up and elevate, right? Like getting him in those various actions, but keeping him engaged and involved. Problem is the Lakers love to just get away from Dalton Connect when he's hitting, right? I'm not even saying he has to necessarily take 15 attempts per game. When he's on, yes, right? When he's shooting 40, 50% from the floor, yes, I think he should. But like just keeping him involved and engaged. How many times do we see Dalton Connect, hit 2 or 3 straight shots, and then like they won't go to him for like another like 3 quarters. And then like he finally gets the ball and he takes a shot and it's like, and then he like clunks it. And it's like, well, what do you expect? The guy hasn't touched the ball in 20 minutes, right? Like when he's cooking, I think, yes, you need to be more active in getting him the basketball. I think you need to get him in more of the action rather than, like something that I talked about the last few games that drove me crazy, particularly that Denver game. The Lakers fell into this habit of just 3-man action, and that was it. LeBron, AD, and Austin Reeves. 3-man action after 3-man action after 3-man action. When that's working and a team can't stop you, and every possession is leading to a bucket, sure, right? I've talked about it before, right? If you run pick and roll and you score, and you run pick and roll again the next play and you score, and you run pick and roll again the next play and you score, why would you stop running that pick and roll? If 10 times out of 10 times you can score on the pick and roll, fine. Make the defense figure it out. Make the defense adjust and then go into other actions. But that wasn't what's been happening. Right? The Lakers have fallen in love with this 3-man action of Austin Reeves, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, and Rui gets neglected, and Connect gets neglected, and D'Lo gets neglected, and all these guys, particularly D'Lo and particularly Dalton Connect, because they're both rhythm guys. They're both rhythm shooters. They need to get into a rhythm and get into a flow. You even saw it last year with D'Angelo Russell. They need to stop getting in those habits of like heavy dose of 3-man game. Right? Because you have other players on your team, you have other players on the court. Now, again, if it's cooking, if you're running 3-man action with those 3 and every play you're scoring, fine, keep going. Hey, Connect, sorry, you just like they can't stop it, right? Sorry, buddy. Like you have to hang out in the corner and we'll try to get you a shot. But that's not what was happening, right? Like we were generating 0 offense. And it's like you're not even thinking about the other guys. That's where the problem lies, in my opinion. But again, thank you so much for Super Chat. Really appreciate it. Watch it coming out with the $2 super chat. Thanks so much. DK plus AR equals premium crackers. Look, they both when they're both on and they're both cooking, it's great. All right. Like I said, you need to get all guys involved. Right. When it's just a heavy dose of 3-man action, when it's a heavy dose of just 3 guys over and over and over again, again, you become predictable, right? Not only do you become predictable, but if it's not working, it's not working, right? I'm fine having again, you want Reeves as your third guy right now? Fine, so be it. It's kind of our best option right now. Fine. Run through it. But that doesn't mean that every possession has to go through Reeves, LeBron, and Anthony Davis. Right? Like, I'm not worried about Rui Hachimura if I know he's never going to see the basketball. Right? Like, yeah, Dalton Connect. Teams are worried about Dalton Connect, but at some point it's like, okay, well, he's not going to get the basketball, so let me help. Right? Like, it's just things like that. But I appreciate it. Thank you for super chat. All right, let's get into the regular chat until some more super chats come in. Let's go. Finally, we get a win. Thank you, D'Lo, for finally stepping up for the first time in the season. I wouldn't say the first time in the season, but this was a great game. And hey, to all the teams in the league, you see what D'Lo can do for the game. Come and get him right. I'm right there with you on that. I mean, I wouldn't say this was his best game. I mean, his first game off the bench, he had 18 and 6 or something like that. He had a better game than this. He's had a couple good ones, but this is the D'Lo we need. Right? This is the D'Lo we need to see consistently on a regular basis. Again, I'm not even saying he has to give us 17 and 5, right? Give us 12 and 5. To me, it's more about the efficiency, right? Like, if he can be efficient, right? If he can knock down 3 threes a night and, give us a couple, drive to the hoops, and there you go, right? Say he knocks down 3 threes and then gives us, 2 layups, right? Boom, there's 13 points, and then dish out 5 assists. Now you've accounted for, 25 to 30 points, right? Like, that is the D'Lo I want to see. The fact that Connect had 20 and is considered a quiet night is insanely good. Yes, seriously, right? Like, the guy is so impressive, especially as a rookie, right? Like, especially as a rookie, this guy is, he plays like a veteran, like, genuinely. Finally, another win. Another win as it stands. We wouldn't have been able to sleep today if they lose again. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Adam. It would have been a very long night and a very different live stream, right? The coach needs to keep Dalton in the starting lineup. I'm right there with you. I agree. I still prefer Rui off the bench. Like, I like Connect at the 2. If you've been a part of the channel and the live stream since we drafted Connect, I've talked about having Connect at the 2, right? Because he's bigger at the 2, right? At the 3, he's kind of average, right? Like, most threes are, 6'7" to 6'9". So he's like in that average range. But at the 2, with his size, with his athleticism, with his strengths, right? Like, he's just, it maximizes it more. But that doesn't, like, I still like the idea of Cam Reddish. Obviously, ideally, I'd prefer Jared Vanderbilt, but you're just leaning so heavily into the offensive side of things, right? Which, again, it begs the question of, like, okay, what happens when the offense isn't cooking, right? What happens when guys are struggling, right? You're not going to be able to stop anybody. Look, we still need a trade, but I think no matter what, like, I've said it, if we could do the Nets trade, right? I love the idea of, like, Dennis Schroeder, Dalton Connect, Cam Johnson, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. Like, I think that's one of the best starting fives in the NBA, if not arguably the best, right? Then you add in, Austin Reeves as your 6th man with, like, a Dorian Finney-Smith, Cam Reddish, if you can keep Max Christie, Christian Wood, and Day'Ron Sharpe, boom, let's go. Let's go win a championship. Would be my ideal. Andrew, coming out $2 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, buddy. Glad to see Dorian Finney-Smith on the radar. I need both Zach and Dorian Finney-Smith. I'm right there with you. Look, I've talked about it before. My favorite trade we could pull off, it would be multiple trades, would be LaVine, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Walker Kessler. If you can get those 3, I think you win a championship. Like, genuinely. I really do. I think if you can get Zach LaVine, just the ceiling raise that takes, add in a 3-and-D guy and Dorian Finney-Smith, and then add in a Walker Kessler off the bench as, like, your 6th man, or not 6th man, as your big man, good luck beating them, right? Like, I just think at that point you're great, right? Because now you have a consistent 3rd guy that on a nightly basis could be your 2nd guy. When LeBron James having a bad night and he's kind of struggling, boom, here you go, Zach. Go give us 50 if you really need it. I love it. And I am glad too that what was it? It was Anthony Irwin, I think, was the one that reported it. that the Lakers have been, that Rob Pelinka's been very like diligent about trying to get Dorian Finney-Smith. So I hope that keeps up. I really do. But Andrew, thank you. I appreciate you. I'm right there with you, buddy. Shoot, where was I? Here we go. And see what happens when you put Connect in the starting lineup and get a win and a 20-point game from him. Thankfully, JJ learned from his mistakes and would have taken Ham half a year to figure that out. Yeah, thanks. Dalton opens up the offense. Yeah, without a doubt. It's something that I've dove into heavily. Like, he takes, even when he's not in the action, he still takes players completely out of the play. Like I've said, right? What player have we heard coaches screaming at their players, move up, move up, move up? We haven't. Like, teams aren't doing that for Austin Reeves. Teams aren't doing that for Rui Hachimura, D'Angelo Russell. Teams aren't even doing that for LeBron, right? Like, Anthony Davis, right? They were just like, hey, let him shoot that, right? Like, Dalton Connect is the only guy on this roster that draws that level of attention, right? That teams cannot leave open. Right. And so what that does is it basically completely takes a guy out of a play. So now you can't defend LeBron James and Anthony Davis the way you'd like to, as opposed to when like Rui's in that corner and it's like, we'll take our chances. Like, he's not going to knock down 7 threes, especially in a row. Connect. He's a guy that can knock down 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row. I'm so glad Dalton is back in the starting lineup. I'm right there with you. I agree. Connect, that is the only reason we aren't tied with the Jazz and the Blazers. VFX. Dude, that guy's been ridiculous. Yeah, Max had himself a game. In my opinion, this was the best game Max Christie has had. Max Christie, like, stat-wise, has had a better game. But if you actually watched this game, he had his hand in everything. I mean, the guy was everywhere. I mean, this was the Max Christie that you're like, all right, there it is. But this highlights my point that I said time and time again earlier in the season, right? You got to stick with him. Right? He never got that figure it out year, right? Like, he played, but he played in spot minutes or garbage time or whatever. This is the first time he's really actively in the rotation. And one of the things that I talked about was, like, JJ has to stay with him, right? People talk about, Scottie Pippen Jr. and Jay Huff. We had them. What happened, right? They were bad for us. But then they went to a team that allowed them to play. Now, granted, they were tanking, so they were allowed to play like 35 minutes a game. And guess what? Jay Huff and Scottie Pippen Jr. had games where they were unplayably bad. I mean, atrociously bad. But then they also had games where they were really good and looked like the players that you wanted to see from them. Right? You have to do the same thing with Max. Not saying he has to play 35 minutes a game. Obviously, the Lakers are in a very different situation than what Memphis was last year, but you have to consistently give Max minutes, right? If he's having a bad night, you pull him aside. Hey, man, like, not your night. We're going to have to go with somebody else, but it's fine. You'll be right back at the next game, right? And you stick with him. You don't want to kill his confidence, right? And credit Max for, being out of the rotation, coming back in, and then actually playing a role. Look, I've talked about it. There's no reason Gabe Vincent should be playing over Max Christie. No reason. You're not going to, Gabe Vincent could average 10, 10, and 10 the rest of the way. And his value isn't going to change for the Lakers. Teams aren't going to be like, oh, man, what we need is Gabe Vincent. Most of these games we won, we were down until Connect saved us. Yeah, true. Connect is beauty. Yep. This game proves Connect is a starter. Yeah, facts. He has to be a starter. Brilliance win, but we still need to trade. Yes, facts. Like, this doesn't change the whole, hey, we need to trade. No, we need to trade. We really do. Yes, Connect was the leading scorer tonight. Reeves needs to come off the bench. Look, I agree. I am all for Connect coming out, or not Connect, Reeves coming off the bench. In my opinion, Lakers should stick with the starting unit. I know defense is a concern, but their defense will still win. Reddish was starting. Yeah, but it's about the better balance, right? And what Reddish provides. Lakers are bad defensively, and then it's without Cam Reddish, it's even worse. But, again, during the regular season, I don't worry about it. Like I said, the same thing last year when Rui was injected in the starting unit and Lakers really good. I'm not worried about it during the regular season. Regular season, you can get away with just being like, as long as you're like a top 5 offense, you're going to win a bunch of games. You're just going to win a bunch of games, right? Like, it's just how it works, right? But once you get to the playoffs, that's where the defense really starts to shine. That's where it's like, okay, because you're playing the same team several times, right? They're scheming, they're doing things. Like, you need to be able to adjust and give different looks defensively and all that. That's the problem. Lakers just don't have the pieces to do so. And that's where my concern is. My concern isn't the regular season. I think Lakers will be fine during the regular season. It's the playoffs. Once you get to the playoffs, that's where my concern lies. Stakes coming out, $2 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Like what I saw out of Max and Connect. Nice game. Yes, agreed. I mean, this was a great game, period. Right? I definitely deserve Max and Connect getting some shine. I love it. But this was a very balanced game. Right? Like I mentioned earlier, I know some people are going to be like, oh, it's just the Spurs. Well, Spurs have been very good this year, and they were on a 4-game win streak. And on top of that, Lakers are on the road where they've not been a good road team. LeBron James did not look like himself early on, came alive in the fourth, which was great, but he didn't really look like this was a nice balanced attack from everybody. So good game across the board. You love to see these types of games. These are the games that I preach that I want more. Right? You got 7 guys in double figures. You had 31 assists. Right? Cut the turnovers down a little bit, right? And you're in good shape. But yeah, this was just a nice game. But Max Christie, again, his impact goes beyond the box score tonight. I mean, people are going to look at just the box score and they're going to be like, oh, yeah, he had a great game. No, you got to look at his actual game, right? Like, or the actual game, like the way he impacted it, had his hand in everything. The guy was disrupting passing lanes and shots. And I mean, the guy was just everywhere. He was fantastic. I also really like that he does everything with 2 hands, right? Because that's what like NBA play, like that's what you're taught. Like that's the fundamental. Go up for a rebound, grab it with both hands. Don't try to do this like one-handed, like, because that's how you don't have as much control, right? When you go up to try to finish strong with both hands, right? Like things like that. And I love that he does that. I love that he actually plays that way, and you just see him be a lot more effective. Let's see. They own the Spurs. Yeah, definitely. What's going on, Dan? Sorry, trying to find something to me. Lakers still need to trade. Yes, agreed. Hot take. Maybe Rui should start and Reeves should come off the bench. So we get the D'Lo and Reeves combo off the bench. I just don't like the problem with Rui is that he's out of position, right? Like, and like I don't think that's a hot take, Dragon. Like, I mean, it's along the similar lines of why you want Rui. But the thing is that like Reeves, he is effective. We've seen it. Now, look, statistically speaking, he's actually been better off the bench in recent years than starting. But like, so like, what's your 5, right? Like, you go with like Rui. What do you do? Put in Max? Like go Max, Connect, Rui, LeBron, and AD. You have too much youth and too much reliance on LeBron and AD in that unit. Like when Reeves is cooking, he's cooking, right? Like, look, I've been incredibly critical of Reeves, but when he's on, he's great, right? Like, and he is a guy that has been better in first. It's him putting a full game together, right? It's him being slotted and starting the game well and then closing it out. But the reason I like Rui, and I get the idea of size, but the reason I like Rui coming off the bench is because now you could take Reeves and LeBron out, put in D'Lo and Rui. Rui can now play his natural position of the 4 more. And then he's still going to have to play some 3, but you can balance it out better. And Rui can be more focal point. He'll help better rebounding. He'll be more impactful overall, in my opinion. So that's the thing. Yeah, Duo was hooping. Yeah. I think are you talking D'Lo? Yeah, they were. Ben saying Dalton needs to start for weeks now. Are you a believer in him starting now, or you still think he's not ready? Also, happy Thanksgiving, buddy. Happy Thanksgiving. Well, I mean, Dalton Connect started the last it was just the last 3 games. last 3 games. They didn't start him. He was starting before that. So I don't know about weeks. But, yeah, look, he's been great. He really has. He's been fantastic. I just didn't want to wean him in too fast, right? You saw early on he had his inconsistencies, right? You'd have a game where he'd go and give you 12, and then you have a game where he's like 1 of 4, and like, it's just like you don't want to put too much on his plate right out the gate. But he showed he was able to handle it, right? I'm glad, right? If he can handle it, start him. My whole thing was just I don't want to. You're relying on a rookie to come in and be a top 4 player in the starting unit. It's a lot to ask for anybody, let alone a rookie. And then also how good are you as a team if you're that reliant on a rookie, right? But Connect has done his job, right? He's delivered, right? But you didn't know until you tried it, right? Like that easily could have went the other way, right? Where it's like, okay, this kid clearly isn't ready. So you got to credit Dalton for actually stepping up and showing, like, no, I am ready, right? Like, let's do this. And he's been massive. He's been absolutely massive. So, no, yeah, he absolutely has been ready. Again, it wasn't that I didn't think he wouldn't be. Do you really want to put all that workload on him right out the gate? I mean, my example was like Pop with Victor Wembanyama, right? Like you saw Pop, Wemby's playing like 19 minutes, and it's like, why is he playing him 19 minutes? And then they get like to the quarter point, and then he's playing like 22 minutes. And then by the end of the game, or by the end of the season, he's playing 40 minutes a game, right? Like that's kind of the idea, because you want Connect. But you've seen Connect, he's out of position at times, getting backdoored regularly, right? Like he's not perfect. There's still a lot of concerns. Like if you got, I don't know, a couple vet guys that make more sense, then yeah. But for right now, yes, that's the guy you need. He's got to stay on the starting unit. I like LaVine, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Valanciunas trade, Tyler. I wouldn't hate that either. I mean, look, if you end up with LaVine, Dorian Finney-Smith in a center, you're great. Like, Lakers would be great. Or Day'Ron Sharpe, Dorian Finney-Smith, and LaVine. I like that trade too. Yeah. Basically, center, LaVine, and Dorian Finney-Smith equals, in my opinion, championship. Dorian Finney-Smith and Cam Johnson would make us so much better. If you could get those two, yeah, absolutely. I still think LaVine and Dorian Finney-Smith would make us better, but I do think that is something that would be great. Tyler, if D'Lo is able to go back to his last season form, do you think he will go back to starting unit? No. And I don't think you should, right? Like, the only guy that you'd want, that I think you'd make an argument for to replace him with, is either Rui, which I don't like that because now you're small, or Austin Reeves, which the Lakers just aren't going to do that. If D'Lo gets back to being the D'Lo we saw last year, I think you still keep him off the bench. I just think you uptick his minutes, right? And that's going to be up to the coaching staff to try to figure out. We need Collins and Sexton. Talk about John Collins? I personally would stay away from John Collins. Sexton, I wouldn't mind Sexton. Lakers have one good win, 20% into the season. I mean, they've had a couple other good wins, but the lack of athleticism shows on multiple long rebounds. Yes, which has been my biggest point, right? Like, so many people talk about how we really need, like, you got to get a center, you got to get a center, you got to get a center. Again, we need a center. I'm not saying that we don't, but we need perimeter athleticism and defense more than anything, right? The biggest getting perimeter defense, like I see you said, LaVine, Dorian Finney-Smith, Sharpe, just makes sense. Yeah, like if you get that athleticism and you get that defensive versatility out on the perimeter, it solves pretty much everything, right? Because what are teams doing, right? Teams are jacking up a bunch of threes on us because we don't have perimeter defense. So teams are jacking a bunch of threes, which what happens? That leads to long rebounds, right? Our interior is not the problem. It's the exterior. It's the perimeter that is killing us. So if you get a bunch, like, for example, Spurs today shot 43s. Every team is shooting 43s on us, which leads to long rebounds, which, what does that mean? Now it's a foot race between D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, and Rui Hachimura, or athletic wings and guards. If you defend the perimeter better, now you're not going to get those shot attempts. Teams are going to have the harder time, trying to get you out. And if they do try to just jack up a bunch of threes, you have the athleticism, you have the size, and you have the versatility to now go get those rebounds and win foot races, or at least get those 50-50 balls. Teams are winning every one of those 50-50 balls. Why? Because we don't have the athleticism and foot speed to win, right? Like, that's where the problem lies. So again, yes, we need a center, but we need the perimeter more than anything. That should be the number one priority. You get legit two-way guys, you uptick the defense, you still maintain a top offense, and you're going to solve a lot, not all of it, but you're going to solve a lot of the Lakers' transition issues. You're going to solve a lot of the Lakers' rebounding issues, all of that, right? Max had a nice 8-0 run by himself. Yeah, Max was absolutely hooping. D'Lo was very good this game. I know people are like want to get rid of D'Lo, and I'm not saying you don't trade D'Lo, but we gotta at least give him credit where credit's due. You know, like I'm critical of D'Lo. Everyone's critical of D'Lo. When he has a good game, you gotta have a good game. Let's see. This was Max. We wanted to start the season. Agreed. Yes, this was the Max Christie we were all very hopeful for. I watched Gladiator instead. I mean, I get it. Betting the over on Tyler confusing Dennis and Dinwiddie. Yeah, I don't know why I keep doing that in my in like the videos. Yeah, I've done that like 3 times in the last like 3 Nets videos. It's just I'm used to like when I'm talking about the Nets, Spencer Dinwiddie. So it's just like in my head, you know, like making the connection. Spencer Dinwiddie's been a Net for pretty much his whole career, right? He's had like 3 stints with the Nets, so it's just like I think of that, and it's you know Dennis Dinwiddie. But yes, Calvin, take a running poll. Let's see. We need Levine, Dorian, Sharp, and including Dennis would be the icing on top. But Levine, Dorian Finney-Smith are essential. I agree. I am right there with you. Hey, look, Spurs have been very good this year, and we're on a 4-game win streak. I don't think it's like, oh my God, Lakers just beat Boston, but still, it's a good thing. I'd rather have 80 high assists. Yeah, agreed. Assists. He needs to read. He needs to make reads like tonight. Yes, agreed. 100%. I would rather, instead of AD giving you 40 a night, I'd rather AD give you, 23 to 25 and dish out, 6 to 8 assists and just be a better all-around versatile game. All right. I'm going to do like one more page and then I got to get out of here because I got some stuff I got to take care of. And then also I need to go work and then make videos for you guys for the morning. So got a lot going on, but I had to do a live stream. So we had to talk about this, right? This team is better when DK is starting. Agreed. DK player of the game. Keep up the good work, Tyler. Thank you. I appreciate that. Another question. Do you think Gabe Vincent should keep getting playing time? No, not over Max Christie at this point, right? If it's Max Christie or it's Gabe Vincent, you got to go with Max Christie, right? Gabe Vincent, he's literally the worst NBA player in the league right now, and that's the problem. So I just think that you have to keep it that way. Let's see. I want Levine and Walker Kessler so bad, bro. I'm right there with you, 1,000%. Let's see. Hey, the puppy's making an appearance. Hi, baby. I know my kids and girl just got home, so she's all excited. She wants me to go. Baby, I'm almost done. Hannah, 1 second. I know. You want to go say hi? I know. We'll go say hi in a minute. I know. Wow. I need to cut your nails. Your nails are sharp. Okay. Here, you want to make a look? Say hello to the world. Say hello to the internet. Look over here. Look. Yeah, there you go. Oh, here, let me take. Hey, no, not the microphone. Not the microphone. Don't hurt people's ears. See, look. Say hi. Oh, you're your puppy. I know you're your puppy. I know. Hannah, 1 second. 1 second. Let me get through. I know. Oh, thank you. Oh, I love the kisses. Thank you. Levine might be necessary since they're so adamant of in not using Connect at all. Yeah, I feel like I get that. Believe me, I get that. Christie is the player of the game as he played with full confidence, and we've seen what he can do. Yes, agree. I really like what we saw. Come here, get down. Thank you. I know. You're excited. Yeah, I really like what we saw from Christie. I think he had a really nice all-around game. I thought he did a really good job of just like impacting the game in ways that don't even show up on the box score, right? Like that's the thing. He did a really good job of just impacting the game in so many ways. I love what we saw from it. Guys have to be ready for Braun's passing, but Braun has to be smart with his passes. Also, Braun got beat up big time night. Yeah, I mean, he's like the only superstar that I've ever seen that just like gets no calls. It is crazy to me. But yeah, a lot of his turnovers are just careless passes or like trying to thread the needle or just make a careless pass in the passing lane. It's just it's frustrating at times. It's just like, dude, come on. Like, if you don't have it, don't have it. Cardio Gabe needs to go. Start D'Lo. I know D'Lo has been awful, but he is a playmaker. Operates better in the starter because of his ego. Bench Reeves because you're still guaranteed 12 to 15 points off him off the bench. I like the idea of having like LeBron and D'Lo separated at times, but look, I wouldn't hate that at all. I've been saying start both Connect and Rui for the longest time. I'm glad JJ finally made the move. Connect is a guard. He is definitely big for a guard, which is good. D'Lo love, yes, D'Lo was fantastic. Yeah, take your bow, Max Christie. Nets is about to beat the Suns. Wow, good. We need that. We need that. I don't think they have Kevin Durant. I think Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal aren't playing. Right? They sat like a bunch of guys. Who did they sit? They sat. Oh no, Bradley Beal played. Oh no, everybody played. Wow. Okay, I know that there were reports that they were gonna rest KD and Bradley Beal, so that's interesting that they did that. Okay, trade time. Don't be fooled. D'Lo, AR, and Max. They won't do this in the playoffs. Crunch time, maybe AR, but that's it. Yeah. Look, I still don't think that means that we don't need a trade. We still absolutely need a trade. Tyler, would you feel about D'Lo, Dalton Connect, Reddish, Braun, and AD starting lineup, and have Reeves and Rui run the show off the bench? I'm not against it at all. Like, look, I've been very adamant about Reeves being off the bench because he actually plays better off the bench than he does starting. But I don't think that the Lakers are going to do that as much as I would prefer that. Ideally, I'd love Jerry Vanderbilt back. You go like D'Lo, Connect, Vando, LeBron, and AD, but I just don't think that's going to happen. Let's see. All right, let's do like three more, and then I'm just getting out of here. Levine, Connect, Braun, Dorian Finney-Smith, Braun, AD, six-man, AR, Cedric, get that chip. I'm right, and then Kessler off the bench. Yes, I am right there with you. Been a day one supporter. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Seriously, thank you, Steven. You're awesome. Thank you. I always appreciate people that have especially stuck around. Most efficient I've seen Max JFX. All right, let's do this last one. Zach, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Dalton will have the floor spacing out. LeBron and AD will have a field day in the paint. Yeah, 100%. I'm right there with you. Right there with you. Like I said, that's my favorite trade. Zach LaVine, Dalton Connect, or Zach LaVine, Dorian Finney-Smith, and then a center. Any center. Ideally, bring me Walker Kessler, but I will gladly take any center. But anyways, I'm going to get out of here. I know I usually go another like 30 minutes to an hour, but like I said, I have some stuff I need to take care of. And I got to go make videos for you guys and all that. Plus, this dog's very excited because everybody's home. So she wants to go say hi to everybody. But yeah, so I appreciate you guys. Real quick, hit that like button. If you haven't hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on the way out for me, please. Yeah, let's great win. We got the Thunder in 2 days, right? So let's do that. Let's go win that. But yeah, again, appreciate you guys. And everyone that gave me super chats, thank you so much. Seriously, really does help me out a ton. Seriously, as somebody that does this for a living, right? So it really helps. But everyone that just supported and was just here to talk, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let me get on out of here. I will see you all in the next one.